Hi guys, welcome to this channel. Yeah, it is awesome having you join us again in this training session. In this training, I'll be talking about conditional formatting in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so how do you and how can you be able to format cells in a certain way to visually convey an information? So you could be benchmarking against a certain value or an average or any condition of any kind, or values that are greater than or equal to a certain character. Okay. So for such values or values in a cell that meet those conditions, you may want to make it bold, you may want to change the font color, you may want to fill the entire cell with a certain color. Right, so today we want to explore how you can be able to easily do that in Excel. Okay, all right. Now that said, very first thing I want to mention here is rule number one. In conditional formatting, when you try to format cells, what you're basically saying is that you're putting up a check to say that if your value or values in the cell you're considering meet a criteria, then format. So if it meets that criteria, then format it. But if it doesn't meet the criteria, do nothing. Okay, so that is the first rule you need to keep in mind. The second rule is that conditional formatting works based on logic. So the cell value has to return true for that check before the formatting will take place. So for example, if you compare 100,000 to 150,000 and you say if 100,000 is greater than 150, then format it green. But you know that truly 100,000 is not greater than 150,000, in that case, it will return false. And if it returns false, conditional formatting will not take place. The final rule is that conditional formatting takes into consideration the value in the first cell. All right. So, except you do proper referencing, conditional formatting, once it finds a value that meets the criteria, it will mark the entire cell with the format that is specified. All right. However, you can handle this by managing your references in Excel. Okay, so that said, let's just go straight into the business so that I can quickly demonstrate. So let's say we have this list of products and we have their prices. I want to do a check to see if the price is greater than 55,800, then format it green. If not, leave it as is. All right. So what we do here, we just quickly highlight the cells of interest. Okay. How do you highlight cell? Control Shift. So you could click the first header, click your Shift button, and then your arrow key to the right, you highlight that, then Control Shift, hold the two together, click the down arrow button, it will highlight the entire cells that have value. Okay, so that said, you will just come to the Home tab and you go to Conditional Formatting. In Conditional Formatting, you pick New Row. All right. Now here you will see various criteria to format the range of columns. So we have format all cells based on their values, format only cells that contain, format only. So each of these you pick, there are conditions to play with. All right, so this is to say lowest value, choose this color, highest maximum value or highest value, choose this color, and then it alters it in this range. All right, so you look at how that works if that is what you want. Right, you can also do format only cells that contain a certain value. So once that value is found, you can choose between, you can choose equal to. All right, so these are all of the values you can play with. You can choose equal to, you specify your value here. Okay, and then you choose the format that you want. You click format, All right. So there is number formatting, and also we've not specified anything. That is why all of this um, are hashed out for us. All right. So you can also format only unique or duplicate values. So duplicate values in the cell, you can format it to a certain color. All right. So let's say, for example, if a value is duplicated, then format it to, say, for example, fill it to red. Okay, if we choose that and we okay and we okay it again, we will get nothing. All right, because there is no repetition of value. But if I change this to 70,000, you would see that it becomes highlighted as red. So this can help you quickly identify duplicated values and deal with it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and undo this, and I'm back to what it used to be. Okay, so I'll highlight again, and I'll go back to my home tab and back to conditional formatting. All right, so new rules. All right, so in our case today, we want to focus on formatting cells that contain a certain value. Okay, all right, so in this case, can actually use this to achieve what I have in mind, or I can enter a formula. Okay, so let's first start with this. So let's say that I equal to, I'll choose that. So you would see that Excel already does the referencing for us with $2, meaning that here A is locked with $1. Okay, and the row as well, A is the column locked, the row as well is row 2 is locked. All right, so you would see that there, and then you go to the format. So I can as well pick green, and okay. All right, so here what this one is actually doing is to say if the value is equal to 5,800, all right, paint it green. All right, but of interest for us here, its value is greater than that. Okay, good. So I will okay it, and notice what happens here. All right, so the way we've highlighted this, we highlighted the two columns, and as a result you would see that for every value where the value here is greater than 55,800, it is formatted green, this is formatted green, this is formatted green, this is formatted green, and the rest are not formatted at all. All right, so if this is not what you want, we can just go on and pick only the price, repeat the process, but this time around we are going to make use of a rule. Okay, so we'd use a formula. So use formulas. All right, format values where this formula is true. Okay, so basically we are saying where I'll pick this 70,000 is greater than or equal to, I'll pick this each. Okay, so with this done, all right, what we've done here is complete referencing, right? Now I will show you something just to demonstrate the rule I mentioned earlier. So if we go ahead and okay this, let's say I mark it with that color, and we okay, you will observe that all the values are marked green. Why? This is because conditional formatting checks with the first value. So the first value here is greater than 55,800. Hence, all the values have been marked green. But this is not what we want. All right. Now, just to further demonstrate this, all right, if you check the formula we had entered, okay, here, back to conditional formatting, please. If you check the formula we had entered, this is the formula, right, where before. So we've done, All right, so you would see the formula here where before absolutely reference is greater than or equal to A2. Okay, so this is the current formula we're looking at. I'll go ahead and delete this. This is the initial one. All right, so this is absolutely referenced. All right, now if I go on and replicate that formula here, you're going to see something. If I say, all right, I'll put it down here and I'll say where this is greater than or equal to this. Okay, and I reference it just like it's done. So you can use F4 for referencing, or you could type in the dollar yourself. All right, so everything is true, and I click it down, you will see that everything is true. And this is exactly the formula we entered in our conditional formatting. So everything is marked true, hence this is true. Okay. All right, so that said, would go on and edit our formula in the conditional formatting, right? But just to demonstrate this further, if I take off, so because I don't want to do an absolute referencing such that at every point in time this is fixed, what I'm going to do is this is only the only value I want to be static, so I will leave it as is here. But for these ones, I will let it move, but only across the column. Okay, so I will remove this so that's right. So when that is done, I will check again, and now you see that this is marked false, this is false, this is false, and this is false. So that is the same way the rule will be applied. Now, if I go ahead and I select the columns of interest, and I click on the conditional formatting and I select new row, right? So I will just come here and I'll click use a formula to determine which cells to format. So I already copied the formula that I used here, which returns the logic, and then I'll paste it. So you would see that only the column B is locked, while both row and column A2 is locked here, so that it's comparing absolutely to this value 55,800. Okay, then I will select format. All right, and then I will choose to fill. In this case, I'm choosing the green color, and I would want my font to be bold, and I will also want the color to be white. All right, so I will okay. So now, just before I click this OK button, this is the very best time for you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Please help to subscribe, click the subscription button, turn on the notification icon, and click to like this video. It encourages me to create more lessons for you. All right, so I'm assuming you've done that already. Are you ready for this? Let's click OK, and boom, this is what we've got. So 70,000 is well formatted. It's 9,000, 90,000, and 87,000, which are all greater than 55,800. So this is how you can quickly do conditional formatting in Excel to capture certain values. And just like I already mentioned, there are other forms of formatting you can do. Duplicate values by average. You can format to check if it contains even a test, say milk, and all of that. And just in case you're good with your formatting, you can go on and clear the entire format, all right, to return to what it used to be. So I will clear from entire sheet and everything is cleared. All right, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now.